this school on Wednesday, the 11th of May 2022. Don't know why I emphasized everything in my sentence, but whatever. So there was quite a lot of traffic when we were trying to get into the other school. So the instructor had, or not the taxi driver had dropped me off just outside and I had to walk in, which is just a bit different. And then there were only 5 of us in there today. No one from the other school, because there are 3 schools that go to this other school. My school, their school, and a third school. No one from the third school was there today. And there's only 4 people from the main school. You know what I mean? Whatever. And the person that sits next to me apparently had read the book that I was reading. Well, say apparently she did, because she asked me if there was a character called Cosmo in it, and there is. Although, I mean, I did leave my book sitting in the middle of, just on my desk while I went to the bathroom. She could have read the blurb, and there Cosmo went, oh yeah, but I don't think she did. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, in media, actually, they got a bus to bring only 2 of us home. Usually they're about, I think from now on there's going to be 4. Like, even then, that's enough for a taxi. But it was just me and the other guy that gets my taxi on the bus. Why didn't they just get another taxi? Maybe they don't like call it every time. Maybe they just say, can you come here Monday, Wednesday, these times? I don't know. And then when I was in media, I came in. He was talking about Curran Seaton, a theorist. Well, theorists. And as soon as I got ready to write, he was talking about Hesmond Hall, who's another theorist. And he said there was like this sort of box, 2 boxes. There was a small box that said Hesmond Hall with a bit of space, and there was a big box. Sir said, in the box that says Hesmond Hall, put an arrow down from Hesmond Hall and write this. So I did. And he said, get your another colour. So I got a red pen, put a ballpoint, and write this. And we wrote a hell of a lot, because it turns out what he meant is that everything I wrote in red pen, I wrote outside of the big box, and it turns out that's what's supposed to be in the big box. And he told us to finish that for tomorrow. At lunch, there was some really big thunder, and about 30 seconds after the first thunder went off, we were standing outside media because it was raining, and we had a mate who was in history, and he popped his head out of history and went, was that just thunder? Yeah, that's class, mate. And then, like, about a minute after the second thunder went off, he popped his head out again, but he didn't say anything, and only I saw him. And then someone had talked about how, like, in year 9, he was playing hide and seek with a bunch of our mates, and he hid in a beanbag, because it turns out that the inside of a beanbag is this sort of foamy thing, and eventually they found him, and when he came out, a bunch of the foam was stuck on him and all, so everyone got pissed off and was like, you're getting Hoover and cleaning this up. So he did start to clean it up, and they left the room eventually, and one of the people comes back in the room, starts acting all gay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm literally homosexual. Like, you want to get in the bed with me? Oh, okay, sure. And he gets on the bed with, lying stomach down, and the other guy sits on his back, and the way he described it is that all of his other mates popped in and shoved the Hoover up his ass. Yeah. And then this is a different thing that happened at the same time. Another one of our mates had a baguette, and there was this white thing on it. He thought it was mayo, but it had the sort of texture of butter. So Kelly had sort of wiped the mayo butter off of the baguette with his finger and was pointing around, people going, is this butter or is this mayo? And eventually one guy had tasted it off of Kelly's finger, and I was like, yeah, it's butter. And then after I ate, he like sucked his finger. And we were all gagging, trying not to throw up. In careers, all of a sudden, everyone, or almost everyone in our year group, came in because they had something to say. And we thought, oh, it's going to be about study leave. And they said, we don't know anything about study leave, which I think might have been a lie. I do not know. And you'll understand why I do not know if it's a lie or not later. So they brought us in, said a bunch of crap about jobs, and they put on a video for like a TED talk, and that was it. Then we went to general. We were there for a period, and while we were there, the teacher said, I've got an email from the RE teacher who has said that everyone is supposed to come to the hall at period 10. I'll try and find the email for you, and he took like 20 minutes trying to find it. And he's busy and all, so I get that he's going to have a lot of emails. But eventually he found it, and he said, right, I'll read out the email word for word. At period 10, bring everyone to the hall. That's it. No explanation, because they don't like giving out explanations to their co-workers. So we all go there. We'll wait for about 5 minutes. Nothing's happening. And it's still set up for exams. So we just sit down at these desks. And they were shouting like, I'm gonna play a clip from 21 Jump Street, the movie.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
That was their mood and their tone when they told us, do not touch the chairs or the desks. So we didn't. And eventually, me and Jack decided, screw it, we're going for a piss. So we went for a piss, came back, and suddenly started talking. And they said, sit down. Someone said, where? There's not really room. You don't want us to sit down at the desks on the chairs. And it's going to be hard to sit down on the floor. What do you want us to do? Sit down on the floor. So we do. And the principal walks in. And she says, oh, none of you want to sit at the desks? Now, either the principal has been told that we're not allowed to sit at the desks, or she's being a prick. I'm going to assume that she hasn't been told, because no one is told anything in this goddamn school. So, instead of telling you what they said, because what they said was a bunch of crap, I'm going to tell you what I've learned. 1. Unless your teacher tells you to come back in, or you're one of the 25 people who have gotten a brown envelope asking you to stay, you can stay off every day that you don't have an exam until the 9th of June. So for me, I'm coming back in on either Monday or Tuesday for an English thing. I have an exam on Wednesday and an exam on Thursday. Then I'm not coming back in until the 9th of June. And that'll be until the end of year 13, even though we're in year 14 work. Let me just put this into vertical. Yeah, I think that's it. So, this Twitter, as of 16 to 8 p.m. This will be a Mogus in 2012. Warner Brothers, please do not copyright me. Marcus does not own the rights to the Batman. When Sue left brownies out the coal and sees me leaving the kitchen. What a great clip. I sure hope the guy playing Riddler has not sung a song in another movie that has had the N-word in it multiple times.
Nigga run, nigga flow, nigga tall his shirt in two. Run, run, a patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run, well you better get away.
Did I even do a review for 12 Years a Slave? Let me check. Okay, I just checked that I did. It's taken 14 months, but it finally happened. Sadie done 2 great big craps in the bath. Thankfully, I have Marcus to fish them out for me. Screw that. Sadie when she grunts in the bath. I'm not playing the clip twice. Tomorrow on Drinkers VMP Lounge, we'll be talking Smart Guns and Xenomorphs with Drake himself, Mark Wilson. Looking forward to this one. Mates.
And I am eligible for it because I'm verified. But there are a lot of people who shouldn't be verified who aren't, legit, in my opinion. I mean, they are real people.
What's wrong with that? She's correct. There are people who are verified, who do not deserve verification. Example, YouTubers. They should not be treated as celebrities because they are not.
But they're not trustworthy. Anyway, so verified people can essentially start to edit Twitter the same sort of way that Wikipedia is, so they can add context to certain tweets. So just as an easy example, not from any political standpoint, if President Trump were still on Twitter and tweeted a claim about voter fraud.
Well, we don't need to talk hypotheticals because I've heard that they are unbanning Trump's account. But he can't go whine about it.
Someone could add context from one of the 60 lawsuits that went through the court, or something that an election official in one of the states said, perhaps your own Secretary of State and his news conferences, something like that. Adding context so that people have a fuller picture rather than just an individual claim on a tweet.
I'm going to play a video that Paul had uploaded 11 days ago. Whoops. And the girl that was talking there, I think this is the same girl.
Makes TikTok videos like this.
Pondering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious.
are you even allowed to like start a lyric at the end of a line and continue at the start of the next? Like, is that a rule?
It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine.
Oh, you want to talk about misinformation / disinformation from Ukraine? Don't forget it's your side that one said that the Ukrainian warship that told the Russian warship to go screw itself got shot down and all died, when in reality they all lived, bitch. And 2, that the Ghost of Kiev is real. And 2.5, the Ghost of Kiev is trans, when really Samuel Hyde is an American comedian in America, living in America, who probably hasn't been to Ukraine ever in his life, who is still alive and making comedy, hasn't killed anyone, never even flown a jet, probably. Yeah. You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context. Also, I'm going to explain why that's bad. So, say like Marcus's video of him with the Nazi pug. And instead of them controlling it by deleting it and whatnot, they just give it their own context by saying, yeah, Marcus is a Nazi. But Marcus's context is that he isn't a Nazi. He's making fun of Nazis. Welcome to a dystopia where the world's richest person declares Twitter is too left-wing, gets to define free speech and incitement to hatred. Incitement to hatred is part of free speech, though. Thankfully, EU has started to regulate the social media platform. Seriously, how about democratizing them? Elon Musk pledges to overturn Twitter's ban on Donald Trump. I know I say boohoo cunt a lot, but boohoo cunt, someone you don't like has been unbanned from Twitter and you're still on Twitter. Nothing's happening in your account. It's just that instead of being far left, Twitter is a neutral platform. And you're like, oh, it's not a Nazi platform. Welcome to Dystopia. LMAO guide pretty much every piece of legislation that restricts free speech or allows banning citizens in the EU is put forward by you personally. You're the one literally trying to build a dystopia, you paint-huffing window licker. Man literally said, welcome to a dystopia. Good thing the EU is building a dystopia to prevent Elon's dystopia. The market is doing awful, especially crypto. Having a low time preference can be an advantage. Log off and come back in a year. Things won't stay bad forever, and it's only a loss if you sell. Last week, Luna was at $85 today. It's currently trading at 80 cents. Sometimes all you can do is laugh. They tried to do some crap they really shouldn't have done. Devs essentially tanked their own coin from what I'm hearing. Should I throw there? Crypto bros be like, log off, come back in a year. Crypto is just on a low right now. It won't stay bad forever. It's only a loss if you sell. The economy understands. And the economy understanders have logged on. Come on. Mark actually took my bait. Mission unaccomplished. RIP bozo. That must be famous if me laughing at you is an accomplishment. I can't play that. Sorry. I was watching NCIS and I paused it so I can look up that TikTok musical thing from that girl. Yeah. Why did you censor the word? Are you hiding from Coinbros? Phishing bots spam like crap out of when you use certain keywords. Alright, Elon, the next thing that you take care of is the bots. Like all of them. Every single one that there is ever. Be a clown like the rest of us and just short a pissy boy. Use your daughter's feature as margin. Everything about this tweet, even your name, made me laugh. Thank you. Problem Musk saying that if people want a type of speech banned, then they can vote for it is not at how not at all how laws work. Governments decide laws, not people. People have pretty much zero say in what laws get passed over them. I can't believe the guy I voted for passed a law that I don't like. I'm so going to vote him out the next election 4 years from now. And in those 4 years, he passed a lot more horrible laws. And even if you vote him out, guess what? The laws are still there. Your vote changed absolutely nothing, and these laws won't ever be repealed. Any law that gives the government even more power, especially over speech, the government will hold on to it with a death grip and never repeal it. Doesn't matter what way you vote, governments always operate on a mummy knows best model when it comes to laws. They would never let the plebs decide it. That's why we need these big, intelligent, eaten, educated wankstains who have no concept of the needs of the average man to decide it all for us. I also hate any implication that rights should be able to be rendered void by democratic vote. To me, this is the reason why all great democracies from Greece to Rome to the US had their times as slaver nations. The idea you can vote away someone's very natural right. Democracy as a false god sounds like voting is bad. Establishing libertarian communes which can exile black people. Excuse my stomach. Right. Right, say you set up a libertarian commune and it's like every house, every building is its own country, basically. So people always say that America is racist because a very small portion of Americans are racist, are people living in America. But now we've changed it up so that every single building in America is classified as its own country, right? So we have just your regular house owned by a white man who hates black people, and he's the only person living in it. You could say that that country is racist because it's his land, it's his country. He is racist, therefore it's a racist country. Same way that, like, whenever the king or queen is Catholic, Britain is considered a Catholic country or whatever. The Protestant country, state, I don't know. I think I've just disputed my own argument, but whatever. So, yes, it can exile black people, but there's going to be a lot more black welcoming communes than there are racist communes. His own words, Will isn't much of a better god. His own words, really? Sure there wasn't a lot more of that sense you are conveniently leaving out? Yes, it's literally a direct quote. Hop rights at towns and villages could have warning signs saying, no beggars, bums, or homeless, but also no homosexuals, drug users, Jews, Muslims, Germans, or Zulus. It also says the exiled groups of people is fine. No, it's a direct quote since he just actually included the rest of the quote. He said that communities can dictate who can be a part of them and can discriminate. He didn't single out a certain group either. Everyone would be able to do this. That was what I was trying to say, but failing. So why did you leave out the whole rest of the quote and only mention the black part? In fact, in that quote, he doesn't even mention black people. Not only is it not a direct quote, but your expansion isn't even the quote you're talking about. Guy Verhofstadt trying to lecture me on freedom of speech is like Jeffrey Dahmer lecturing me on table manners. But you'd rather Elon Musk decide what free speech is instead? Cool. Yeah, but if, right, you do have somewhat of a point, but Elon Musk's opinion on free speech, or well, they've seen like what the CEO of Twitter says about free speech, on its platform, and what the EU says about freedom of speech on its platform is that if the EU, and I know this is a big exaggeration, but I'm just saying it for argument's sake, say the EU bans freedom of speech altogether, that would include Twitter. You would have to use a VPN in order to have free speech on Twitter. But when it comes to Twitter, well, as Marcus said, those laws will never be repealed, no matter who gets in. But when it comes to free speech on Twitter, that's different. The next CEO is more likely to change it than the next person running the EU. We all know what free speech is. The only ones who try to define are people who want to suppress it while pretending they aren't. And we all know free speech has limits. No, it doesn't. And inciting an insurrection, I think, surpasses those limits. These platforms have the ability to amplify lies and disinformation. Regulation is needed. Why has this been okay for the last 6 years, but now it's a problem for you? I agree. It's not been very accountable. When it moves from a public company to a private one, it becomes even less accountable, doesn't it? So democratize the platform, make it so we all have a stake and can have a say on what is inside or outside acceptable conduct for the platform, leaving it in the hands of a single billionaire isn't good news for anyone, isn't? These problems have always existed. Why is it such a problem for you now? Basically, why are you concerned with free speech on Twitter and Twitter being held to account now? Why not before? I just said. So because it moved from a public company to a private one, so when it was a public company, how was Twitter held accountable for or tried to resolve any of the problems you just spoke of? And were you vocal about any of these problems before? The man won't even let his employees unionize. They don't have free speech at work. Why on earth would you assume he would promote free speech on here? Bizarre. Why would you assume he wouldn't when he has outright stated that his goal of the acquisition, as in the success of his purchase is riding on that very thing, as in if he doesn't fulfill that, then this will be the biggest financial blunder in history. Bizarre. I think it'll be worse under the richest man in the world. The richest man in the world owning one of the most influential social media platforms outright. What could go wrong, eh? Doesn't that bother you? You're on the platform now, what's your beef? But when it was controlled by Silicon Valley elites, they were censoring, banning, manipulating information, all the matters of stuff. Why did this now never bother you before? Why does it bother you now, since Musk has said he has plans to stop all of that? Those Silicon Valley elites are still more than one person, aren't they? And what's Elon Musk? You seem to think having it controlled by just one member of an elite is better. I don't think Elon has good intentions. I think right now Elon has good intentions, but eventually he will become a dictator. They were a board of 12, all from the same political ideology, use their power to silence opposition. You feel like Musk is going to do the same. So for the 6th time now, I'll ask you again. If you're bothered that Musk might do that, why were you not bothered before? So I just want a more democratized internet, including Twitter. Having it run by 12 rich people is not good. Having it run by one is worse. He does have a point. Although, because they're all from the same ideology, those 12 people, they're sort of like a hive mind, making them one person. We're going from one person to one person. Then why were you not bothered about it before? Why did you not speak up about it before? Why only now that Musk is in charge, where the only difference is going to be that the right wing can speak more? So you're only interested in the right wing speaking more? It's not that we're only interested in the right wing speaking more, it's that the right wing wasn't able to before and the left wing was. The left wing feels like there's a change. Like it's going to be, he's got to censor the left wing. He's not. Yet. Sorry, I'm just moving about. What exactly do the right wing want to say that they can't already on here or other websites? Well, on here, they can't say that Joe Biden, like anything at all. Top thing Marcus said there. When it comes to other websites, shut up about other websites. Twitter's the big one. Buying laptop, corona lockdowns, mask mandates, origin of corona, immigration, gender ideology, questioning elections, and many, many more things. Discussing the above lead to mask bannings, and since you say you would like things to be free, you of course will support people on Twitter being able to talk about these things, question them, discuss them, presents evidence, etc., etc. You would support that, right? Right, Rick Adams, screw you. I believe in nationalising it, making it more democratic, so we can all have a say. How could you be against that? Nationalising it by the government purchasing it or by taking it. My country currently has nationalised institutions. What say do I have in them then? Give examples. Oh, please say it's over. Thus kind of implies the principles of democracy are a lie, Marcus. Correct. Earthquake. I'm just going to see if there's anything different about this Wikipedia page. No, it's just that he's been called Earthquake. Seems my Wikipedia page has been locked again after all the vandalism. Boy, I sure hope no one notices and violates the crap out of my page. The solicitor actual penis size asking for a few thousand people online. 1.3 inches. I'm not sitting at a good angle, my back hurts. Can you give me examples of how people, through a democratic vote, have a say in how nationalised institutions are run? Can you give me an example of how non-unionized employees at Tesla have a say in how the company is run? I never made that claim. Why are you asking me to prove a claim I never made? You said that via democracy people would be able to have a say in how nationalised institutions are run. Can you give examples? I'm guessing since you replied with a straw man, you can't give examples. Oh, for God's sake. I do not like you, Rick Adams. Are you BSC predict? Even though you only had one tweet, you caused another crap storm. As opposed to whom? Some bored people you never heard of? Think of it another way. Literally every other major platform will have the same exact rules, except one will be relatively more free. Is that so bad? Nationalise them. Give everyone a stake and say. So on our current nationalised institutions, what say do I have? And do you mean nationalised by the government, purchasing them, or theft? We have votes. If we had proportional representation, those votes will matter more, and I support that. Nationalisation isn't theft. Tax avoidance is. I'm not going to touch that. Nationalisation can be theft if you just take something that doesn't belong to you. There are many methods in nationalisation, which is why I'm asking you to clarify. Would they purchase it for a mutual transaction, or would it be a forced transaction or theft? It would be nationalisation, like industries were nationalised in this country previously. People who work there would keep their jobs and the owners would be compensated. Rick, Marcus is Scottish. I think you're American because there was something you said that sounded quite American. And if the workers say, no, we don't want to sell our company and property, then what? Him right now. I already know what his answer is. Just want to see if he'll actually take the mask off and say it out loud. Hey, it's been changed. Holy crap, Earthquake. He has previously admitted to possessing a male sex organ of such gargantuan proportions that he is considered legally handicapped and has to be walked away out of the summer room. General of the IRA Wizard Division. Breach, breaching the Dangerously Based Act of 2003. You're a prick, Rick. You know that? That's where people speaking freely. I don't support the spread of disinformation by people with vested interests. That's fine, you don't have to support what someone says, but there should be free to say, especially if it's on a nationalized government-owned platform, right? Depends. Do ISIS have an account? Surely you support that, right? Literally, yes, LMFAO speech isn't about what I like or think is right or correct or agreeable. Speech is speech. It should be free. Yeah, there was this time where, like, ISIS were using PS4s to communicate, and Anonymous said back when they were based, although this isn't based, they hacked into those accounts and actually had them shut down. That was not a good thing, Anonymous, because of that, they had to go somewhere else, and it would have been somewhere more unknown. Like, for example, the best communication platform right now is Discord. So say ISIS have a Discord server, and you get it shut down. So they move to Instagram, and you get that shut down. Then they go down to Telegram, they shut that down. They go down to, I don't know, Pornhub, they shut that down. And it just keeps on going on until it's an app that literally no one has heard of, so we do not know what ISIS are planning. So why won't Elon let his employees unionize? If he's so big on free speech, why don't let his employees have a say? And you think this guy supports free speech? Did Elon promise free speech among his employees when he started Tesla? Haha, brilliant rebuttal. Right, Marcus, this is all you. What you doing, man? So free speech is for a billionaire to offer. This is why him owning Twitter is screwed. I think we have reached a point of you twisting things. So far, you have not been able to defend a single point you've made. I can break it down for you in a few tweets. I already know the answers to my questions. Just want you to say them out loud. No, free speech is not for a billionaire to offer. However, when companies start or acquisitions happen, goals are set for the companies to advertise to shareholders and customers, etc. Usually when Tesla started, the goal wasn't to give employees free speech, it was to make cars. So arguing with free speech at Tesla is a moot point, since that was never the goal of the company. It's like being mad that a baker's doesn't serve sushi. Let me just move again. However, in his initial acquisition of Twitter, he outright said that free speech wasn't what's the goal in ideas, but now have to compete on a level playing field doing things that way means the biggest ideas rise to the top, which is an excellent segue into my next point. The reason you were never bothered by censorship and misinfo on Twitter before is because it was your side that was doing it. Exactly. After all, why would you be? It benefited your side of politics massively. Censorship, misinformation, banning dissenters, all the bread and butter modern leftism. Utterly immoral acts, but it's okay. They are good and right to do if the left does a sense. We're good guys. As for the nationalism thing, you tried so hard not to say it, but you clearly support the government just seizing property, companies' assets, etc., private companies, and citizens are used for its own means. All that the people control is via democracy is a demonstrable lie. So we have you being pro-censorship, pro-bannings, pro-misinformation, as long as your side is the one doing it. If anyone else does these exact same things, then it's bad. As well as being pro-stealing property. You're a communist. My side, the side of more democracy? What do you mean more democracy? I think you've reached the logical limits of your argument now, resorting to ridiculous attacks against leftism or whatever. Mark, it's been wildly distracting, thanks, but you're a leftist. You have spent this whole thread making communist talking points. Yeah, it's been fun. This thread will be very useful at helping people peek behind the mask, people like you. It's not been fun. It's been tiring. So a company can decide whether someone is free speech or not. Are you against unionization would be weird from a free speech absolutist like yourself. Hey, you can advocate for unions all you want. You can just do it on your way to pick up your P45. I haven't prevented you from saying anything. You can't work here anymore. On Twitter, as in prevented talk bits you've mentioned above from being debated, I've seen people sharing and discussing it all the time. Good chat, Mark. Yes, this literally has LMFAO. They literally banned thousands of accounts. Even the New York Post had a suspension punishment from in the buying laptop. What are you smoking? The good crap, stay off the brown acid and red pills, Mark. On a scale of 1 to 10, how furious are you right now that what I just said is correct and you have nothing to come back with? Proper Stephen, mate. Rim a cup of tea, dude. I know, like I said, I know the answers to my questions. I just see, just like the safe you will say them out loud, plus I thought you were going. Ah, crap, at it twice. And if people vote for a party in a national democratic election or referendum that promises to nationalize said property, then it is taken into public ownership with the owners fairly compensated. That's the thing with democracy. Everyone has to say, taken in public ownership with the owners fairly compensated. Colon yet again, the owners say, no thanks, we do not wish to sell our company, bye bye now. Well, it's been voted for in a democratic vote in the electorate. It said yes, then what's the problem? Does a private billionaire have more legitimacy than the nationwide electorate? Public transport and utilities were stolen from the people to benefit private individuals. It's not up for people to decide in a vote. It's the owner's private property, and it's not up to anyone else what he does with it. If the public voted that the government can take my house, then the government and the public can F off. It's my house. So democracy is a tool to steal from people as long as people support it. You know, you just said the quiet part out loud, right? No, democracy is a tool for making people's lives better when it works. By voting to steal from other people's theft, violating rights, you're currently arguing in favor of violating human rights. Like I said, quiet part out loud. We'll all have a good one. I'm arguing in favor of democracy, not autocratic control by billionaires. It's been fun, but this is my last time trying to engage and actually with someone who's only claimed the fame is making a dog to a Nazi salute, then crying about the outcome later. Well, you keep on saying that you're gonna go. You're arguing in favour of autocratic rule by government to steal private property. Bro, that was 6 years ago. Rent free. By communist. Good luck with all the stealing and genocide and whatnot. Communists really can't handle it when you point out the list. I'm glad that Rick has blocked you. The official Socialist Party, saying how you think communism is being pro-censorship, pro-bannings, pro-misinformation, you have no idea what it is. Yes, some of the communist nations have had over the last century have been some of the most free nations in the world. Go on, say the line. And I was a communist before you were even a glint in your dad's eye. Sit down. As to this, is communism the people collectively own the means of production and distribution? Goods owned in common is a term most often used in circles I was in. So yes, if your next point going to be, well, the people didn't own it, the governments did, and then you say the famous line,